Welcome back everyone to your favorite channel Knowledge Adda, powered by Vision Educare and myself Akash Jaiswal. Today we are starting with a very interesting topic, that is statistics. Yes students, you guys have already heard about this topic and have studied in your lower standards. Now before we start with statistics, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and do hit the bell icon to be notified about the upcoming videos so that you score well in your exams. Now let's get back to our topic, statistics. Whenever we think about statistics, we make such faces because the very first question comes to our head is, what is statistics? Students, statistics is nothing but simply analyzing the data and finding or making a conclusion on the basis of the given data. Now, before we talk about this data and how do we calculate and find out, make a conclusion or analyze this data, the very first question arises to myself and should arise to every student. Why should I study this? What is the use of studying statistics? Now, students, statistics is one of the booming industry in our country, and it is related to a lot of sectors which are working around us. For example, banking sector uses statistics, economics uses statistics, even natural and social sciences uses statistics. So before moving and starting with the statistics in depth, let's learn how the statistics function basically. When we think about statistics, statistics have 4 steps of functioning. The very first step is collection of data. Now once the data is collected, the next task arises is to presentation of the data. Once the data presentation is done, we have to analyze the data so that we can draw the conclusion on the basis of the given data. Before we get in depth of statistics, you need to learn few important things. Now in this chapter or in this topic, we are not getting in depth of the statistics, but we'll be more or less will be aligned to our syllabus. Now this year your syllabus is mainly focusing on measuring central tendency. Now, some of you might have heard about this term, a lot of you might be scared about this term, but let me tell you students, this is very familiar term. You guys have already calculated central tendency in your lower standard. You want to know how? You guys have already calculated mean in your lower standards. You have also calculated median in your lower standards and also have calculated mode in your lower standards. Now just to revise it, what is mean, what is median and what is mode? Mean is nothing but the simple average which you guys have calculated in your lower standards. That means in simple words is the sum of all the observation divided by number of the observation. Now what is median? Median is basically the value present in the center of the given data. And what is mode then? It is the value which is reoccurring or repeating in the given data. Now this year you have to study mean, median and mode, but right now we are mainly focusing on mean. Now the method you guys have used previously of calculation of mean was really easy and could be done for a small amount of data. But when you have a huge amount of data, you cannot use that general method. So therefore, this year you will learn 3 new methods of calculation of mean. The very first method is called direct method. The second method is called assuming method, and the third method is called step deviation method. Now moving further in this, now before we start with any method of calculating mean, we need to know few important terms. For example, group frequency distribution table. Now this table you guys have already seen in your lower standard but might not be knowing the name of it. Let's understand some basic concept before you start with any of these methods. These terms will help you to understand this method in depth. So now let's take a very simple example. Let's say example, in your society you want to study the age group and find out how many number of people are falling in that age group. Let's take an example over here. You want to find out how many people in your society are in the age group of 10 to 20, 20 to 30 and 30 to 40. And what you found that there are 5 people in the age group of 10 to 20, 7 people are in the age group of 20 to 30 and 4 in the age group of 30 to 40. Now as you can see over here, the age group which is given is known as class and the number of observation which you have got is known as the frequency. These kind of a tables will be given in almost all the possible questions of statistics. So you have to really understand what this table is talking about. Now when we talk about class is very important term in this topic. Now let's get in depth with class and understand what is this class exactly. Now class always have two important terms, that is lower limit of the class and the upper limit of the class. For instance, in the given example, the lower limit of the class is 10 years and the upper limit of the class is 20 years. Now moving further, there are two more important terms need to understand class. The very first term is known as class height or class width. This is denoted by small h. So what is class height? It is basically the value obtained by subtracting two consecutive lower limits or upper limits. Let's take an example class. Let's go to the first example of class given to us. There is a range of 10 to 20 and next class is from 20 to 30. Let's take two consecutive lower limits. So can I minus 20 minus 10, which gives me the class height of 10. Let's do it for the next one also. 30 minus 20 gives you the class height of 10 and 40 minus 30, which also gives you the class height of 10. So what do we observe class over here? Class height is always same, or we can say that equal given in the examples or in the questions. Now there is one more very important term which you guys need to remember is called class mark. This is denoted by xi. It is nothing but the sum of the lower limit and the upper limit divided by 2. Can be given in mathematical expression like this: lower limit plus upper limit divided by 2 gives you the class mark. Do remember the symbol of class mark. Let's take a very simple example. Let's go back to our first example. If I take 10 and 20, 10 plus 20 gives me 30 divided by 2. That means the class mark for the first given class example is 15. Can we calculate for the second one? Yes, we can. Here 20 plus 30 becomes 50 divided by 2 gives you 25. And let's do it for the third one as well, class. 30 plus 40 divided by 2, that means 70 divided by 2 gives you 35. So what do we observe over here, everyone? That class mark is different for each class, whereas class height is most probably same for all the classes. So students, you are already learned about some basic concepts about it. Let's start with our very first method of calculating mean, that is called as direct method of mean calculation. Now this method is one of the simplest method and can be possible to use when the given amount of data is less, where the numbers are less and calculation is easy. Now this method requires only 2 steps to solve this questions in your exams. Let's understand these 2 steps. Let's start with the step number 1. Make a 4-column table. Let's get the table in place. As you can observe, there are 4 columns. The very first column, the data you will get it from your given example. We'll first of all place class interval. You guys have just seen right now in the previous example, the example of age 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 is the class interval. In the given question, you will always have a class interval which will take it over here. Now on the basis of class interval, now next thing we have studied just now about class is class mark. You know how to calculate the class mark. Let's revise it. Class mark is the sum of the class interval divided by 2, or simply it is the sum of the lower limit and upper limit divided by 2. Moving further, one more important thing which will always be given to you in your question is frequency. Remember in our previous example, the number of people falling in the age group. And finally, once you get this, you multiply the frequency with the class mark to get FIXI. Now our table is ready, right? No students. You have to also find out the total. And over here, we'll find out total for only 2, frequency and FIXI. So we find out the total or the summation of Fi. This is also denoted by N or summation of Fi. Now over here, the summation sign denotes sum of all the given frequencies. Now similarly, we have to calculate the sum of Fi/Xi. This is also denoted by summation of Fi/Xi. As I have already told you, summation is the sign denoting sum of all the given values. Now once the table is ready, most of your work is done. Now the step number 2 is just finding out the mean. Now you might remember the mean is denoted by X bar. And the given formula for direct method is very simple. Formula says simply mean is equals to sum of Fi/Xi divided by sum of all the frequency. Now on the basis of these two steps, let's solve a very simple question to understand it in better depth. Let's start with the very first question. The maximum temperature in degrees Celsius of 30 towns in the last summer is shown in the following table. Find the mean of maximum temperature. Now as you guys can observe in the question, you are always given with certain data. Can you observe over here? Okay, can you guess which one is the class interval and which one is the frequency? You are right, students. The maximum temperature is the class interval. As you can observe, there is a lower limit as well as there is a upper limit, whereas the number of towns are the frequency. So let's get started and find the solution for this. Do remember, we have to follow only two steps. Let's start with our very first step and let's start with the solution. Let's get the table in place. Now once you get the table in place, first of all use the data given in the question. So we'll directly copy it down the class interval over here. Let's copy it down. Very nice. Let's go for the one more data which is given in your question. That is the frequency or the number of towns. Let's copy that data as well over here. Now what is left? Finding out class mark. Let's calculate class mark. Do you remember how do we calculate class mark? Yes, students. It is the sum of lower limit and upper limit divided by 2. So we had lower limit 24 plus 28 divided by 2, that gives you 26. Let's do it similarly for the second interval. 28 plus 32 divided by 2 gives you 30. 32 plus 36 divided by 2 gives you 34. 36 plus 40 divided by 2 gives you 38. And 40 plus 44 divided by 2 gives you 42. Now is that table ready? No, class. We have to find out Fi/Xi. Now what is Fi/Xi? It's just a simple multiplication of Fi value with Xi value. Let's go for the very first class interval. That is 26 multiplied to 4 gives you 104. Next, 30 multiplied to 5 gives you 150. 34 multiplied to 7 gives you 238. 38 multiplied to 8 gives you 304. And 42 multiplied to 6 gives you 252. Now is our table ready? No, class. You have to also find out the total or the sum of the frequencies as well as sum of Fi/Xi. Let's calculate the sum of frequencies. We'll add all the given values, that is 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 plus 6 gives you 30. You remember the denotation n or summation of Fi is equals to 30. Now similarly we have to find out the total of Fi/Xi. So let's sum it up. 104 plus 105 plus 238 plus 304 plus 252 is equals to 1048. That is 1048. Our first step is done, class. Let's go for the last step. You remember the formula? Yes. Let's find out the mean. So the mean is denoted by X bar. Do you remember? Yes. So the formula says that mean is equals to sum of Fi/Xi divided by sum of Fi. We already know the value. Yes, class. What is the value for Fi/Xi? This is 1048. And what is the value for frequency? Sum of all the frequencies, 30. When you divide 1048 with 30, you get the answer as 34.9 degrees Celsius. Don't forget to put the unit over there, class, or your half marks will be reduced. Question done? Yes, correct. Find out the mean of the maximum temperature. Yes, we have calculated the mean, but if you leave your answer over here, you are prone to get reduced with half mark because the teacher is going to cut half mark because you haven't given the answer statement. So you have to write down the answer statement. Now answer statement you can find it out from the question. The question says that find the mean of the maximum temperature. So you can write down the answer as the mean of the given maximum temperature is 34.9 degrees Celsius. With this, we complete this question. Wasn't that easy? Yes, students. So stay tuned with Knowledge Adda to get more such videos. In the next videos, I'll be explaining the step deviation method and assume mean method. Till the time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to get notification about my next videos. Thank you.